Mm. Oh man. I'm still trying to catch my breath off that one, man. Nervous. Nervous. Why such nervous energy? Why? Ugh. Still trying to get settled, but golly. It's a lot to unpack from that game. It's a whole lot to unpack. And I generally take notes, but tonight I was just kind of watching because I had some stuff I was doing. I was just kind of watching, man. It's a lot to unpack in that game. But first thing I want to say is congratulations to the Detroit Lions. You have clinched a playoff berth. You guys are in the tournament. That is the first and foremost goal of everybody when they start the season, to get into the tournament, and the Lions are in. So give your Detroit Lions a round of applause. They are in the playoffs. They got a tough stretch though going down these last few games, because now that they've clinched the playoff, now the next goal is to win a division, which tonight was a big step in that. It's probably going to come down to that last game with Minnesota, honestly. Hopefully it don't come down, take that long. But the Lions got a tough stretch coming up. But this game right here was a huge game. Huge game, man. And you know, guys, if you got something to say, you got comments, put them in there. I try to get to them. You got some questions, you got anything, man. The reaction from this game. It's a lot to unpack. I'm gonna jump right into it though. Defensively, the Lions had so many different guys. I couldn't believe Jamal Adams started the game. I mean, granted, he was really only in there to blitz, so it was a run situation type of thing. But Jamal Adams, who signed on the practice squad earlier this week, got activated today and started the game. Oh my gosh, man. Can you speak on guys coming in playing off the streets? How difficult is that? Wow. You know what? It's difficult, but the thing is, it's football. It's defense. Cover 3 is cover 3. Cover 4 is cover 4. Blitzing is blitzing. You have basic rules that every team has. The difference is the language. Hearing different language, making different calls, communicating to different people. That is the biggest difference. You know, when they get in, that's why you saw on that one touchdown when Green Bay went no huddle. You see guys kind of trying to get lined up. They're trying to figure stuff out because you got a bunch of new guys out there. So you're trying to get the calls to each and every person. They probably don't know all the hand signals because you're playing at home and the crowd is loud when the defense is out there. So you can't necessarily signal everything. So you kind of having to tell everybody everything. And it just takes some time. So I mean, I was surprised that Green Bay didn't utilize the no huddle more often. Glad they didn't, because that's the biggest thing. If they know they're playing cover 4, they're going to play cover 4. If they know they're playing cover 3, they're going to play cover 3. But the terminology, the communication, that is what is difficult. And, you know, the Lions, they did a great job of masking it in the first half. Like I said, Jamal Adams started the game, and a lot of times he was blitzing when he was in. Very few times where he in coverage that I saw. He was a lot of blitzing, and if anything else, he was playing simple underneath zones or things like that. Stuff that's basic football, anybody could do. It's probably a bigger deal for the D linemen because they're working with other D linemen. They're working with other D linemen on stunt games, on crossing, on all these different things. So it's a little more difficult for D linemen to come in. especially the interior D lineman. But as a linebacker, which is what Jamal Adams was playing, hey, go blitz outside, contain, go make a play, go be disruptive. And that's kind of what he did. The secondary, those guys played, for the most part, they played pretty solid. I mean, they gave up a couple big plays to Watson. But I mean, I thought Terrion Arnold and Carlton Davis had the big punch out, the fumble, forced a turnover. That was huge, right? That was huge. We talked about in the pre-show turnovers, right? Turnovers. You look at the game was going back with the turnovers. Carlton Davis punched the ball out in the first half. The Lions go and score. Jared Goff's come out in the second half, throws the interception, and Green Bay races a 14 or whatever point lead, 10-point lead within 3 minutes, right? Coming out of halftime. So turnovers played a huge key. And if you follow me on X, I tweeted, what do you say now? Tweeted, I X'd, I said I did something, right? I said it's going to come down to what most games come down to, and that's defense making a play. And the Lions defense stepped up and forced the field goal. Instead of giving up a touchdown, they forced the field goal. That was huge because once the Lions got the ball back with 3 minutes and some seconds ago, I knew then, okay, a couple first downs, they're going to be able to milk the clock, kick a field goal, get out of there. They made it a little more interesting, but the Lions defense stepped up and made a play. Branch had a pretty quiet night. Joseph has been quiet the last few weeks, right? I think 3 weeks in a row. He hasn't had a pick. And, sometimes as a safety, you have to find other ways to affect the game when the interceptions are not coming. And so I know they're going to come. He's going to get another eventually, but you got to find other ways to try to affect the game when the interceptions are not coming. But the injuries, will they catch up? They could because you saw in the first half, they blitzed a lot. They got a lot of pressure on Jordan Love, right? They were blitzing a lot. So that's what's easy to do when you got a lot of new players. Just send them. Just go get the quarterback, go blitz, turn them loose. But when you blitz, you put more pressure on your secondary guys. You put more pressure on your linebackers because now you're losing guys, right? There's 11 guys on defense. Generally, you're sending 4 guys to go after the passer, 4 D linemen. When you send a 5th guy, now you're sending a blitz. So if you send 5, you only got 6 left in coverage. So you're losing a guy. If you send 6, now you only have 5 left. So every time you blitz, you put pressure on the quarterback, but you put a different type of pressure on the secondary. And so if they got to continue to blitz at a high level to get pressure on the quarterback, then yes, it will catch up. And that's what you're seeing because without having the Aiden Hutchinson, without having some of those guys on the D-line, they're having to generate pressure in other ways. So that's going to be a huge key to watch. The linebackers, Jack Campbell right now is your senior, your linebacker right there. You don't have Alex Anzalone, you don't have Malcolm Rodriguez. So you have a young linebacker that's now trying to communicate the defense to a bunch of new players. You don't have a veteran guy in the middle that's leading the charge. You have a young guy that's leading the charge. And now he's still trying to learn everything that's going on in the defense and in the NFL. But he's been forced to have to communicate to everybody else to get them on the same page. So that's a tough task. Will that come back to hurt them? I don't know. But that's a tough ask, right? I'm glad they got 10 days to rest up, to heal up, to get those guys some more reps before they play Buffalo, because Buffalo is going to be tough. I mean, these last few games for the Lions are tough, man. They got the Bills coming up. They got to go to Chicago. Then they got San Francisco. And then they got the season finale with the Minnesota Vikings. So it's going to be a tough stretch. It's good going into the playoffs to play tough, competitive games. But when you're trying to get healthy, when you're fighting for first place in the whole entire NFC so that the playoff goes through Detroit, you have to, these are very, very important games. And the injuries that they're dealing with, they found a way to win tonight at home. They held serve. Great job by the Lions. Man, but it was a couple questionable things. I mean, and I could be wrong, but the Lions were up by 3 points, I think. And we were backed up, looked like on the 30th. And somebody correct me if I saw it wrong, because I was in the kitchen, I was cooking, getting dinner. And I look up and the Lions are going for it on 4th down and they got stopped. And I'm like, why are we backed up on our 30, going for it on 4th down, and then we didn't get it? And now Green Bay was already in field goal range. Did I miss something? I don't know. Somebody correct me if I missed that, because I think the Lions end up being 4 for 5 on 4th downs. Now that last one was that's ballsy. That's ballsy right there. That right there, going for it, 4th and inches, 43 seconds left. If you don't get that 1st down and you lose that game, now you're having flashbacks to the 49ers and the playoffs, and you start to question all of the 4th down going for it. Why do we have to go for it so many times on 4th down? All those things start to come into play. And he got it, though. And that is the good thing. That is the thing about sports. When it works out, you're a genius. When it doesn't work out, oh man. Oh man. When it doesn't work out. But it worked out, and the Lions win the game. And that is the thing about this team. They ride with Dan Campbell through the good, the bad. They fight, they fight, they fight. But it's getting tough. It's getting tough. I haven't seen the big plays down the field from Jameson Williams in the last few games. And it's looking like it's getting harder and harder for them to move the ball like we've been seeing. Just points and points and points. I mean, we're seeing David Montgomery. We're seeing Jahmyr Gibbs, the Sonic and Knuckles. But when you really start to think about that offense, it's those two guys and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Jameson Williams makes big catches every now and then, crucial catches. Sam Laporta come through. Tim Patrick had a big game tonight, 2 touchdowns. Give him props. That's the thing. They got a lot of guys. But Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, they are the ones that's making this train go right now. They are the ones. Without Jameson Williams making big plays, that crowds things up a little bit for Amon and for Sam Laporta. So we got to get back to at least taking shots, just taking the shots to put it in the defensive mind that we will go down the field. We got to do that. We got to start doing that. And we got to get more turnovers. The last few games, like I said, Kirby Joseph hasn't had an interception. Brian Branch hasn't had an interception. Outside since the Houston game when Carlton Davis caught the 2 interceptions, I don't think we've had an interception from our secondary. We gotta get some turnovers. It's hard. It's hard to continue to hold these offenses down without some kind of turnovers. Okay. But the Lions, I like the addition of Jamal Adams. The only thing that I don't like is everybody know he's only going to be a blitzer when he's in the game. For the most part, they're not going to put him back. They're not going to take Brian Branch off the field. They're not going to take Kirby Joseph off the field. So if Jamal Adams is in the game, he's playing linebacker and he's probably blitzing. So that could be predictable when teams are game planning and they know, hey, this is what we're going to do, because more than likely that's where the blitz is coming from. Offense is always trying to identify who's blitzing. Where is it coming from? Jamal Adams. That's where it's coming from. So those are a couple of things to watch, okay? Those are a couple of things to watch. How quickly can Jack Campbell get charge of the middle of that defense to where he can communicate quickly, effectively to guys who hasn't been in the defense as long, who doesn't know it as well. The D-line, I mean, outside of Aleem McNeil, I don't think there's anybody on the D-line that was a day one starter. I mean, Zadarius Smith is new. The Muhammad kid, I like the Muhammad kid. He's making plays out there, but he's new. I don't know anybody outside of Aleem McNeil that's starting on the D-line that was a day one starter. The Covington kid tonight, he was getting off the ball. That's that. Hey, man, when you get a shot, you take it. And I'm a witness to that. My rookie year, going into week 4, I wasn't starting. Somebody in front of me got hurt. They gave me a shot. And I started 156 games in a row. When you get your shot, you take it. And those young guys are playing well. The linebacker, 43, I think his last name is Long, recovering a fumble. He had a huge hit on Wicks across the middle. Like, those things matter. You're getting this time in these games. That stuff matters. And it's only going to make you better in the playoffs, because now you're going to have more depth. You're going to have more guys who's gotten game reps. So that could be a big key for the Lions down the stretch. But I think we got to get back to being explosive on offense. I don't know if we're as explosive as we were. And I say that, I mean the big plays. Having to drive 10, 12, 13, 14 plays every time, it's tough when you're playing against the better defenses. It's tough. Can you do it? Yes, but it's tough. Being able to get those big shots down the field helps you out. Defensively, we got to get more turnovers. I thought the pressure was well, especially in the first half, but it was a lot of blitzing. But outside of that, man, I thought it was a great game on Thursday night. Your Lions clinched the playoffs. They are in the tournament. They're in. They are in. Congratulations to them. That's the first goal, to get into the tournament, and they're there. They gotta rest up. They gotta get healthy. The Bills are not going to be an easy task coming up. They got 10 days to get ready. They got 10 days, and it's another home game. So Ford Field need to be rocking again. What else, man? What else happened? Somebody remind me in the comments. What happened? It's a lot to unpack. What else happened? Somebody remind me while I'm talking so I can cover it. Those are my takes, man. The fourth downs, being in all those fourth down situations and converting 4 out of 5 times. That's huge to be able to do that. The last one, Jack Bates, field goal. That's what championship teams do. They find ways to win the game. They got a defensive stop, held on the field goal, and then they milk the clock to win the game. So, yeah, that's my reaction, man. Catch your breath. I know Lions fans are excited in Detroit. Downtown is probably jumping right now. Everybody's going to have a great day going to work tomorrow. It's midnight back on the East Coast. So, great job, Lions. Congratulations. You guys are in the playoffs. And that's really all I have. It's a tough physical game against Green Bay, division opponent. We own the North. We own Green Bay. And we're on to the Buffalo Bills. Tune in next week. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Follow me on X, Glover Quin Jr. Follow the Believe Network. We'll be doing a show talking about the Bills, getting ready for that upcoming game. Be going live after the game again to talk about it. So join me back here. If you have questions, send them in, submit them to the Believe Network, and I'll answer them. But yes, you guys have a great night. And until next week, I will see you guys later.